bottom right-hand side is going to be our blue Zerg player representing Onside Gaming. Is regular in the WardiTV tournaments. It is Solar. And in the top left, he's become a regular in our tournaments. This last year, he has played in absolutely anything you will let him lay his hands on. He is not picky. He will play any tournament. It's great to see that because he's a very good player. It's very fun to watch him. It's Dark in the top left-hand side. Here's our finalist in the WardiTV Winter Championship, going up against Cure, not quite making it through against him, but having a good run. And just in general, excited to see what these two bring in the ZvZ. These two with a lot of history against each other in the ZvZ as well. When you talk about Solar, for example, and you go back to when Solar has won tournaments, I mean, talking about his big wins in the past. You know, GSL Super Tournament, he beat Dark in a 7-game series, right? That was obviously a huge result for him back there, for him just last year. It had been a long time since Solar had won, but the other tournament he won was the SSL in 2016. That was one which, at the time, we definitely expected to be the kind of, tournament that Solar consistently did well in. Did we expect him to win it? No. He also won against Dark in a best-of-7, in 7 games, in that grand final to win the SSL. And those are the two Solar premier victories in his career, both against Dark in finals. Now, maybe the WardiTV Spring Championship ain't quite on that premier level, but it's a fun little stat between these two. These two definitely have history. There's definitely fire underneath each other when they come into a series like this one. And nowadays, I feel like they play quite a lot because they're both players who absolutely grind the online circuit. You talk about 2023, and in 2023 alone, like, they've already played like so much against each other. In 2023, they have played 14 times, which for two top Korean players is quite a lot. So 14 matches, 8-6 in Dark's favor in those 14 matches. Like I say, we'll see who gets the better of the other here today in the Spring Championship. I'm talking through the early stages of Gresvan, and not too much is going on to start us out, guys. Everything is pretty chill for the moment. Couple Lings running around each other. Link speed on either side. Third hatchery will come up. It's going to be hanging out with a couple Lings. Going to go nibbling at each other. So, and set up here. Link speed coming in. Baneling Nest coming up. Hatchery coming in on both sides of the map early on. As a couple Lings will continue to chase around and just try to see what we can do. Roach Roar and Baneling Nest, both on the way up from Solar. As we do see Dark just making the Lings to bypass the Baneling Nest. We saw this happen exactly against Scarlet as well. Bypass the Baneling Nest, just go straight in towards the Ling Roach setup. That's exactly what he's going to do for the first few moments here. Lings running up the right-hand side, so they're just going to go sliding on away for the moment as well. So just getting out for the moment. Just see a few Lings are going to start jumping onto this hatchery. Baneling coming across. The other few Lings of Solar coming through. 6 Lings coming out. Again, Queens on the way on both sides. Roach Roar about to be done. It's just going to finish up here. A couple of Overlords still producing from Dark. Yeah, a whole chunk of Roach is coming out. Obviously, Solar is looking to play aggressively here. He's actually only on 28 drones. They thought initially that with skipping the Baners, Dark might be the aggressor, but a little worried for Solar, because if he goes across the map and attacks, I don't think he succeeds. Quite frankly, Dark just has Roaches enough to deal with this, right? So if Dark just has Roaches enough to deal with this, and what's going to go well for Solar? And I'm looking at this, I'm like, well, not a lot, right? Like, he's going to be able to make some Lings here, and maybe the Lings will make a little bit of the difference, for example, but I can't say I love this situation for Solar, because it feels like Dark is extremely well prepared to receive a fight. He's ahead in workers, so Solar kind of does need to go and fight. It doesn't feel great for Solar at all. If 3 drones going down does help Solar in the work count. I mean, he's still behind. Dark replaces a couple of the ones that he lost. And like I say, Solar's still making units to just go and fight, so Doc gets supply blocked momentarily. He will now add on a spine crawler as well as he prepares for his defense. Army supplies are even though, and army supplies are just not meant to be even if you're all in the guy. So, yeah, this already looks pretty good for Doc in this game one, just the subtleties of ZvZ helping carry him through to a great position already. This attack doesn't work for Solar. He runs some lings in the main, that's a cool idea because he's not going to win a fight straight up. But run a few lings by, maybe we can do something with those. Doesn't really look like it, does it? Can Doc truly hold on this low ground? I absolutely expect him to. Spines are not far from finishing, so that's going to help massively as well. And I think, again, answer as kind of expected is absolutely yes, he will hold. Solo gets pushed back in this first game. Has just gotten away from Solo completely. This attack goes absolutely nowhere. And this is just Doc having the perfect response. Just a few more drones. Obviously a little bit greedy, no Baneling Nest initially, etc. But just not going greedy himself. Like, he built roaches too. Just he did it off of like 5-6 more workers. And at that point in Solo, like, your build's just never meant to work. Like, your opponent was never aggressive enough to kind of set up like that, right? Bunch more lings coming up here as we do have ourselves the roaches is coming through. I mean, here we go from Solo one more time. Plenty more roaches coming up. Spine Core is still trying to get set as well, as they will just help in this defense. But again, Solo supply is just really not there compared to Dogs. Down 10 workers. Absolutely in need of succeeding with this attack. And again, I just do not think the opportunity is around for that. And that means I think we've got ourselves a game 1 victory as Doc pushes away these few roaches and ravages. Yeah, just looking very solid. GG's from Solar. And Doc wastes 0 time getting to a 1-0 advantage in this grand final. So no, whatever that is. In the bottom left-hand side, up 1 in our grand finals. Our blue Zerg player from Dragon Kaiser. It's Doc. In top right, our red Zerg player. 12 gas. 11 pool. Time to get aggressive if you are called Solar. Ay. Alrighty then, guys. Very aggro build from Solar here. This is the kind of build which on altitude it's very hard to scout because you just don't get across the map quickly with the Overlord, so let's see if it works out for Solar. He picked this map. I wonder if Doc wonders what the hell he picked it for. Kind of expected, I think, that Solo goes beyond the 100 gas and we'll get a Baneling Nest here. I think just link speed with this build would never be enough, so Banelings are necessary. Solo will avoid the first Overlord movement of Doc. That's going to be pretty essential to make this build work as well, so we'll work our way around that for the first few moments, and again, wait to see when Doc will really be able to start picking up on this run. Hopefully sooner rather than later, otherwise he's going to be in some trouble, guys. So far, Solo dodging well. Baneling Nest halfway done. Banelings will be able to morph in aggressively very soon here, as he is going to run up towards the natural in a couple moments. Still hiding additional lings from Doc. Still trying to hide exactly the information Doc wants. As we start a fight, Doc realizes exactly what this is, though. He is going to start up a Spine Crawler. He knows this is what it is as well, because a Spine Crawler is not the response to like a 12 pool alone. So he realizes the timing is meaning that this is with gas, so immediately Doc identifies what this is, starts the spine, and pulls drones and lings to defend the low ground here. His own Baneling Nest coming up. He'll play slow lings with Banes as the defensive setup for himself. These few lings have their speed, trying to find what they can do. The few drones pull around the other side. And get the wrap around here. These few Zerglings being picked away at. The extra Baneling showing up. This is make or break time as Solar. If you don't do well enough in this fight right here, you are in trouble. It's as simple as that. This hatchery is going to go down. Can he actually do okay just killing the hatchery and backing away? His own hatch stone. He's down, 8 workers. Like, that's a massive amount of catch-up. That's 400 minerals of catch-up. So when you compare that to like having to build a hatchery here as Dark to get back in this game, that's a lot further behind that Solar is. Now we catch these couple of queens, however, that's cool, but we only have so many Zerglings. The Spinecrawler gets rid of the Baneling before it can get in range of anything as well, and doesn't even let it splash onto itself. Spine will fall, but not enough Lings continue for Solar and Dark. Up 7 workers, up in army supply, and I just do not feel like this did enough for Solar at all. You need to do so much damage with these kinds of builds, and that's why they typically aren't seen that much. You need almost ridiculous amounts of damage to truly succeed with these kind of attacks, and I just don't think Solar's got enough here. Dark even going to threaten a counterattack with slow Lings. Just to make a statement, why the hell not, I guess. His Ling speed done soon though, his hatchery will start a rebuild, so that's one thing that maybe wasn't back up online immediately, but it's getting there soon enough, right? I'd say it's getting there soon enough. A handful of Lings and just make their way forward. Ling speed going to be kicking in a few moments' time. Lings in the center here from Dark. Getting caught, that's nice for Solar. Anything you can do to slow your opponent down, right, when it's maybe not being the best of starts for you. I mean, now Solar, you're starting to see the benefit of that hatchery coming up soon, and now he is ahead on workers. Dark evens it up, his own hatchery about to be done. Was it enough for Solar to actually end up even? Maybe I did just misread it coming out of this. Still coming through, a couple of drones, Lings, Banelings still producing. Ourselves a little bit more just on the way out right now as our Lings poke up into this natural and turn back around. The single Baneling trying to come through. And they get shot down by that Queen. This Baneling's going to get the lava, which is kind of cute. We do not really get any of these drones, but even if we hit a couple, it might be nice just to get a couple of faster kills with the Zerglings on the follow-up. Solar loses 4 workers here. Solar is teching up, though, into that lair. That's something the Dark checks on and sees. This is the difference. Now you're talking about a lair on the way from Solar, while Dark already has a 3rd hatch, so you're basically playing tech versus eco as the setup in this game. Solar with the tech, and Dark with the eco is our setup. Coming in, the extra Zerglings are producing. Coming up, a couple of drones, extractors all still building in here. The Queen's still building up as well. The Baneling, oh, very nearly goes down, but not quite. It's just going to be seen our lair is about halfway done from Dark. A couple more Overlords are getting set up, and I mean, Dark still kind of keep up the pressure, make sure that Solar doesn't get to a 3rd base, but then that doesn't necessarily matter if Solar plays this Spire. Solar doesn't really care about the 3rd base if he gets a Spire up and rolling, right? Like, Spire is pretty darn good in this scenario, so definitely one more thing for us to watch for here is that Spire truly comes online. I think Dark might actually end up in a lot of trouble. Yeah, and a very fun, active and aggressive start to this map has led to a pretty fun situation. Now, Dark, have you got not wondering a little bit why the hell Solar is still just on 2 bases, though? Like, surely at some point he asks himself and kind of, you know, realizes himself just exactly that, hey, look, man, like, dude's on 2 bases. Why? What could he be doing? He must be teching, right? Oh, I think he knows. Nidus coming down, so he's going to say, you Spire all you want, you build the mutas. If I Nidus and get the Queens on the other side of the map, that would be pretty darn huge. Bane's around up the top, just going to be seeing the Nidus network is about to complete. Torches and Queens still building up from Dark here as well. Mutas spawning out from Solar, going to head down towards the center. We do drop a Nidus in on the right-hand side. Well, Mutas are going to jump onto this pretty much just straight away, right? It's just going to clean up here. Well, oh no, they actually had Queens got out. Why? I thought the Mutas were going to be enough to shut that down. Pretty conservative first Nidus, right? It's not up in the base, it's not trying to do anything crazy. It's just on the edge of the 3rd. Happy to just slowly push forward and just to start working our way through this slowly, apparently, is Dark. Doesn't feel like, again, he needs anything too severe. He's happy with just the general push that he can get out of this, as Mutas are going to dive forward here. Queens do not transfuse because they're off creep, so this is where Solar can take a great fight. That Queen's the last with a transfusion. Well, now the Mutas are going to just dominate, and you can't really do enough here as Dark, and he went just... It's very conservative, the first Night's position, and then it was maybe just... Then he went too soon, though. Like, he plays the Knights conservatively, but then didn't play conservatively. What a weird little situation. That was strange. That was really strange. Well, now the Mutas are just going to absolutely dominate this game. Dark is in no real fit state to play against Mutas. His economy is not really in a place to play against Mutas, and he absolutely knows he doesn't really have the units to play against Mutas. That's going to very simply be a GG. That's going to be how this game comes to a close, and Solar ties up our grand finals 1 apiece. Tied up 1-1 in the top right-hand side from Onside Gaming. That Blue Zerg player, Solar. 12 gas, 11 pool, got it done, man. I honestly didn't think he had done enough early, but it's that like fine line of then he can drone up before the hatch comes down from Dark, and bottom left a red Zerg is Dark. And I wonder if Dark could have built his hatchery a bit sooner than he did. Dark took a few moments to build the hatch. I think I said it right, like Solar had to make 8 drones while Dark had to make a hatchery. That's 400 minerals versus 300. But then Dark just didn't start his hatch for like 30 seconds beyond Solar droning, so... Yeah. Anyways, this game going to be 16 hatch versus 16 hatch to start off with, so the early game at least is going to be pretty set and standard. Nothing too crazy to begin with. Pretty standard for the moment. Gas is the next part of this as well. So hatch gas, and very soon spawn in pools. Going to be our way to get all set up here for the moment in the early few minutes. Raw Blood is a map, pretty standard in size. Nothing, you know, you can really kind of shout about here or anything. Guys, I have a very quick special guest here for the grand finals, just to give you guys some real joy at the start of the ZvZ. It's Ellie! Ellie's like, wait, you just stopped stroking me. Okay, thank you. Ellie, you're not really sitting in camera position, are you? Like, huh. Ellie here giving her seal of approval to this ZvZ finals, guys. Just wants you all to know that ZvZ ain't so bad when there's a dog around. There you go. Thank you, Ellie, for your notable words. I'm sure this visit has absolutely nothing to do with the fact I have a plate of food in front of me. Such a sweet, calm dog. My goodness, you need to meet her when she's outside. You would take back every single one of those words. Second speed coming up on both sides of the map. Couple Lings chasing a couple of Lings, as we are still yet to see this game really diverge from either side. Ling speed coming through on both sides as well. It's going to be seen how Zergling's producing plenty from Dark. Now, Dark's been doing this a lot, where he just skips the Baneling Nest and just goes straight to the Rotron. Seems to be the same idea again from here. So intriguing to do it so many times in one day. But you see this every now and again, but like Dark is really hammering this build. In game 1 of this series, and an earlier game against Scarlet. Well, the Bane's coming online from Solar as he'll set up for a bit of a Ling Bane phase. Obviously, there's no Banelings on the side of Dark. That's kind of how this is intended. Let's see what we can do. Hi, I'm Cross-Eyed. Thank you so much, by the way, for the 8-month resub on the Prime. In Game 3 of this grand final WardiTV Spring Championship action continuing your way, with Lings clashing, and both players looking to open a lead in the series here. with the 1-1 scoreline currently keeping them level. Banes will morph in. Roaches will be producing from Dark as well, so we get all this going. Let's see if the Roaches can be here in time. As Solo is kind of committed, right? A lot of Banes morphing. There's going to be a lot of Roaches finishing, though. Can we jump on any of these? They do get into the corner there, so Dark's able to protect a couple of these Roaches straight away. Lings coming back around the bottom side. A few Banes still setting up. 12 Lings, 3 Roaches, like I said before. We do see more of these Lings of Dark heading back down the bottom side as well, as he is just going to be able to defend. And I feel like Solo's kind of walking into what happened in game number 1, where he's just attacking into someone who's just way better off defensively already. His attacks just are not cutting it in terms of the timing they're arriving at. Hatchery, though, is going to go down. Solo's going to grab this at least, so there is something for Solo. No third hatch from Dark will slow him down pretty significantly. Roach run continuing up, hatchery coming through, a couple more Overlords again produced. And we do have ourselves still the additional drones on the way in as well, so bringing those up and getting those running. Well, Dark starts to rebuild his third hatch. The thing is, the third hatch right now isn't even so much about economy as much as it's about production. But because Dark's going to be building mostly Roaches, I don't think he's going to suffer too heavily from the lack of lava. As if he was playing like Ling Bane and he was kind of losing the third hatch, then I'm really worried, because then he can't keep up with lava and Solo could overwhelm him. Playing Roaches, I just don't have the same concern at all for Dark. Like, at all. I really don't. A few more drones coming through. The Lings to the right side, going to grab a little kill. Circling here, just going to come popping up, trying to see what's going on. They're still building up. Missile upgrade on the side of Dark. 6 more drones producing for now. A lot of Lings of Solo. Going back up that right side. Oh, 1 Ling of Dark sneaks into the main base. It's going to see that lab morphing in as our Roaches going to come around a little bit. Bane's going to go a couple different directions. Ravages going to start morphing in as well. Plenty of Roaches here continuing through. And these couple of morphing Ravages at least will go down, but they've tanked so much of this Ling damage. Look how many Lings are dying as you try to cancel those. Expensive for Solo, who is up 11 drones. Dark is hot in pursuit, drone-wise, however. He is on the chase as he drones himself. Spire starts from Solo. I said it earlier today, right? If you're ahead on the lair of your opponent, and your opponent is indeed going lair, Spire is very rarely a bad thing to go for. So we'll get Solo in toward this Spire here, get that started up. It's going to be seeing +2 missiles, Roach speed, continuing through for the moment to continue to get that up and running. Obviously, the focus on Roach is still from Dark. He doesn't even, with the lair finishing, go towards the Spire himself. He just goes straight into his own Roach speed. Oh, again, Overseer also up as well, try and get some scouting information, especially against that Spire. Would be incredible if you could actually pick up on the fact it's happening before it comes into play. That would be a really big deal. There it is, scouting in the main base. Spire is spotted, and Dark now instantly knows just what he is playing against. So the Spire is seen, instantly drops himself down a Hydralisk Den. Unsurprising, it's pretty much the most mobile kind of composite unit you can build, or thing you can build against, you know, Mutalisks. There's our Spire finished up. 7 meters on the way. There's definitely going to be a phase of this before, you know, before Hydras are really out in any sort of meaningful numbers, where the Mutas can still probably create some control for themselves. It's just never going to be a game where the Mutas are going to absolutely dominate. It's never going to be a game where the Mutas are going to be, you know, game deciding throughout. Like, there might be a portion where they're still very scary, they're still very strong, but their timing is going to be somewhat limited at the very least, just due to the fact that that Hydra Den's coming up so quickly. Mutas will grab this overseer. Well, I think that's a change enough. I mean, it's just been annoying. Trying to pick up as much information as possible. Of course, scouting is key still in ZvZ. Even knowing if your opponent's still making mutas versus if he's going into roaches, these are things that can adjust your unit composition. These are things you can, set up, extra static defense for example. It really helps you decide what the next part of the game is for you, so it's noteworthy. As our Mutalisks will make their way around the left side. Queens get here, Mutas get turned around. I was going to be seeing these Mutas still in the center of the map. Plenty of roaches coming up. The Lurk Den is on the way. More Hydras, Groove Spines being built. We turn around, just going to grab the Overseer, which is a nice little attachment. And yeah, Dog just says, hey, look, well, I can play late game from here, huh? I get Lurk Den on. Dog is very good late in the game. Like, he's very good late game ZvZ. Probably the best. At least in Korea, for sure. Solo doesn't want to let him get that. He's going to try and fight early. He's trying to get these Banes to the Hydras. The Roach Wall is good. Three Banelings slip towards the Hydras. None of them connect. Now, the Banes initially did pretty good damage to the Roaches because they were so clumped up, but Banelings are so supply expensive for Solar, and that was a lot of Banelings that just went down without really doing much. A lot of the Roaches that got damaged never actually fell, and now they start to regenerate. Solar supply really plummeted there, and of course, it's only getting better for Dark, who can soon morph in Lurkers off of his Hydras. That's going to be great against a future attempt of a Baneling attack. That'll keep you very safe, honestly. So that's some good news as well, as we do see Mutas going to put themselves onto an extractor there for just a few moments. The few Hydras do get across, they're going to be able to push back those Mutalisks, chase those away into that corner. These other few Roaches coming through, a few Queens going down, more Roaches continuing to drop. Our Mutalisks now escape up the left-hand side. Banes are going to actually get a flank on this group of Roaches. That is some splash damage. I mean, that's Banelings at their best, but still, you see Solar barely taking a supply lead off of that. That's just the cost and efficiency of Banelings and how expensive they are to have. But I would say it definitely helped, and it's definitely put him in the right track. Because right now, Doc, he's moments away from getting on Lurkers and all these things. Well, he has Lurkers. He just doesn't have enough of them yet, guys. Never forget, WardiTV, Home Story Cup 23. What did we say? 4 Lurkers. How many Lurkers does Dark have? 3. And that's why Solar's going to absolutely crush him in this game. Got to get to the Forker. The 3K isn't a thing. The Forker is. And now he's building 3 more. There we go. Yeah, okay. So Dark has no idea how many Lurkers he needs. What a fool. Real talk, though. I mean, this is actually getting a little bit serious right now, as we do have Roach Ravager coming through. Solar is trying to capitalize on that previous fight, but he just didn't rebuild soon enough, and now there still are Lurkers here that are going to hold the position. More bars flying up. Nidus Network from Solar. He really doesn't want this game to go on. He doesn't want Dark to play late game Lurkers. Everything he's doing basically suggests that. Like, he is not going to give Dark, well, he might not have a chance, but he's going to do his best to not give Dark the opportunity to go into that setup. Doing his absolute best. Roach is coming around. Lurkers are going to get set there. More Roach Ravager back around into the center. We do have our Nidus about to be done, so it's time for Solar to ramp up the pressure once again and to truly try and find something here. Couple of Mutas will sit out overhead. We do have ourselves the Roaches. Trying to move forward here. The Mutas putting in some free damage where they can. Take what they're given. And as the Nidus Network, quite a few of the units from Solar are going to end up in that main base. They get round top of the Lurker Den straight away too. Good target to take away some of the strength for the future. Right now, no spawn pool as well, so Dark has to rebuild that on his way to Hive. He does get a pretty respectable response to this into the main base pretty quickly. He also has a Carapace upgrade lead when it comes to that battle, so this should be okay for Dark, I think. I think he's going to win out. He's obviously got a few more reinforcements coming. However, Solar's winning out at the front here. And Solar's overall supply is again just that little bit stronger. Is it enough to keep on pushing? There's still 5 Lurkers in play from Dark, and I think that's the issue. I don't know if Solar's supply is good enough to truly take him through 5 Lurkers. I think that might be where he truly just kind of runs into a little bit of a brick wall, and this game in general has to slow down from him once again. Approaches. Lurker's getting set here. We are going to be seeing this army of Solar going to make a dive forward. Lurker's going to start dealing out some damage. It's going to be seeing the army of Solar. You can see, like I say, he's desperate not to let this go late game. He's desperate not to let this be a higher Lurker count. Using the Biles to try and force the Lurkers to reposition, giving him a chance at least to stand here and truly have a shot at fighting. Again, though, Dark holds on. Size expands on the way. The Lurkers are getting better. I think Solar is actually going to be running out of options here. I think he's in trouble, guys. I think Dark might have himself this game number 3. And a lead in this series once more after Solar took it away from him on altitude. Dark is responding very strongly. Cool game as well, because it's not an easy one to judge or carry out or anything. Dark playing from some funky positions, absolutely. So does have a gold up? Obviously, the way he's playing, resources lost heavily in Dark's favor. The way Solar's playing is to try and outmine Dark. Very akin to, say, like a ZvZ or so, right? You trade worse with lower tech units, but you mine more, so it's okay. Hydrogen now from Solar, who might just feel like he has to match Lurkers with Lurkers eventually. We'll get some Vipers going, though. Vipers are huge against Lurkers. Blinding Clouds, Subducts. All Vipers all coming through. Lurkers are going to sit there. A few Crows of Bars coming down. Like I said, it's going to be extremely difficult for Solar to truly push through Dark at any stage now. And that's why he knows he has to go to the Lurkers. That's why he knows he has to go to the latest stage of the game. Solar knows where he needs to be. Solar knows kind of what he needs to do. It's not what he wanted to do. Like, that was very apparent. He really did anything he could to not end up in this position, but he's gotten here anyway. And again, that's the power of Dark. He's great at getting to that later game. And when he gets there, he's terrifying in it, so... And now Dark is pushing before Solar has his own Lurkers or anything, so Dark's actually making a bit of a fight out of this. Ah! Is this me? I reckon it's me. No, it's TKL this time. Alright guys, a couple moments here while one of our casters DCs. Unfortunately, the Korean server, BattleNet in general, has just not been great lately. It's not been great at all, sadly. Eight seconds, and we can resume. Let's see ZvZ, guys. See that players drop to pause. Players right back at it. Obviously, in the heat of the action right now is we have Dark pushing, Solar trying to play the defense. Solar is in trouble, though. He's losing bases. He's losing supply. And I think, in general, Dark is just going to be a little bit too well set. The couple of Viper abducts are good for the Lurkers, but there's just so much of everything else right now that's also an issue for Solar. He'll have his own little counterattack trying to set up on this bottom side here, but I'm not going to be convinced that that's going to be enough. Not at all. As few Lurkers are putting in work. There's actually quite a lot of Lurkers still left here from Dark as well, honestly. Full base from Solar's not mine. He will get this hatchery, but he's going to lose a lot of units in the process. Yeah, I mean, again, those are good abducts, but this is just not going to be good enough. GG's, and Dark takes the 2-1 lead in the top left-hand side. Is going to be our player who is up 2-1 in this grand final. A Red Zerg player from Dragon Kaiser Gaming is Dark, and he has got the power-up of not being afraid of going to the late game. It's the others that are afraid of him in the late game, and that definitely helps. Definitely helped force the issue a bit in that last game, as Solar, who's egg bottom right, did not want to give up. the later game situation. He did anything he could. It was going okay for him. He's like, screw it, Nidus Network, because he just really, again, wanted to stop that stage of the game from happening. Game number 4 here. Dark a chance to go up on the match point. Still, like to obviously not let that happen. Try and keep this as competitive as possible. Still in that home strike up finals, by the way. 0-3 down to the 3-3. Talk about being able to change the momentum of a series. Definitely shows you how dangerous his ZvZ can be. Hatch gas spawning pool. Couple drones on the way out. Going to be seeing ourselves mirrored for the moment. Again, Doc being really skipping the Baneling nest throughout, apart from that game too, where it was essential because he was getting 11, 12-11. So yeah, would be interesting to see if he's going to, if they, as they mirror matchup themselves here, mirror build order, if Doc actually does go into a Baneling nest this time, or if he's really, thoroughly behind this idea of staying away from the Baneling nest and just consistently playing these lings into roaches game after game, which has definitely been his style up until now. Just wondering how much he sticks to it, because again, it's been something you see sometimes, but it's not usually something you see like every game, like Doc is doing. I look into Twitch chat. We're just discussing zebras and pandas. Amazing. Forward hatchery from Solar. Which has been available on this base, so you can be much more aggressive throughout the early stages of the game with boosted gas income. The less work is committed, so it is very nice for some of the attacks, and obviously you're spawning units very far forward too. So you're vulnerable to some of the immediate attacks, but once you get aggressive, generally things swing into your favor then. See if Stola can utilize that himself nicely, or if Doc will be able to stop him from getting there. Things on the way on both sides of the map. Of course, getting late in career. Coming up to about 1:45 in the morning right now. So shout out to the guys staying up late playing some StarCraft with us. They're used to it. They play events at this time a lot of the time. So, yeah. Shout out to these guys anyways, though. Always appreciate them. Always appreciate them playing in our tournaments, making the lineup stacked, and allowing us to get so many people here and interested in the games. Things are gonna fight each other and send a couple Banelings morphing in on the side of Dark. Still has a couple of Banes himself. We'll see. My question was answered whether Dark was gonna actually skip a Baneling nest again. This time he said nope, not at all. As he's trying to still push through the other side, there's a queen and a couple lanes. I think that should be plentiful to make sure that this defense is solidified. That should be that for now, as a couple queens jump back onto the Overlord on the left side as well. It's just going to go pinging through that a little bit once again as well. Now the Baneling 2 getting cancelled up as Sol actually loses 5 drones though, so his economy taking hits. Solo gonna have enough as his Banelings come forward. He gets a little connection on a few of those Zerglings. Roach Roaring is about halfway done for Solar. Looking to make that swift kind of tech up into the Roaches. If you can get away with that, that would be incredible. Right now, I'd say he's on a pretty good track to be able to do so. Roach Roaring begins on the side of Dark. Another thing Bane still coming through. A couple Banelings coming forward there. I see the Queen grabbing one of those straight away. Well, shots going down. Just going to be seeing ourselves progressing with the Ling still actually in a bit of trouble here. Chasing our way, making sure that Queen is protected. Dark Still just making lings, but Sola's now building roaches. I think, like I say, the smooth transition point is going to hit in for him. He's going to pretty successfully see it through to the next stage of the game. Roaches on the way from Doc as well in the end, but... Okay. Sola's kind of playing a dangerous game running through the middle. I'm always scared anytime anything runs through the middle of Neo Humanity that suddenly it's just like, BAM! 7 corrosive bars on the rocks. They knock down everything in the center dies. It's like, ah! Obviously, unrealistic, doesn't really happen a lot, but I don't know, man. It's in my head. I'm so ready for it to happen. The one time it does. I've seen rocks knock down on a few units before, but maybe not on like everything from piles. Just so ready for the possibility. Last shots up then as well from Doc, so he's gonna again just be kind of trailing on the tech a little bit. I wouldn't say it's like too major or anything, just kind of the way things are going for the moment. Single Zergling coming in from the left-hand side. The rocks will go down. That is just going to be the middle section of this map closed out for the moment. It can make it much more difficult for either side to kind of move to the others. Make it much more defendable as Solar. Still working off that rich Vespene gas. Obviously, that's going to mine out very quickly, but it doesn't mean he gets access to that gas much sooner. So something like Aspire and Mutalisk are generally a pretty good way to go for him when you consider that part of the puzzle. He's going to have so many mutas. It is genuinely going to be a little bit scary how many mutas he's going to have access to so quickly. Drones collect down towards this base. Feelings is going to go and clean up in the center a little. This one missiles, roach speed. All the good stuff still coming through. Dog's going to finish off the Bane nest, so it's much easier to move in and out of his base. Doesn't want to get caught up there. Understandable. This move is made a lot of the time you kill your own Baneland nest nowadays. A lot of the time people are like, what's he doing? It's super standard. It just means easier access in and out of your base in case you get Nidus, in case you get roach burrowed. You're the one that really needs to be in and out of there quickly so that you don't lag behind moving elsewhere to go for the next stage of defense, right? Or other units moving around against mutas as well. Also a possibility. A lot of reasons. TLDR, unit movement. Easier because there's a bigger gap in the wall. Mutas will end up in the main base. A few Lings have to turn away there. A couple Queens will take a few shots, or very nearly take some shots. The Hydras are on the way from Dark. So they're building up the Roach Ravager behind this. As he finishes +1, he gets a lot more OVs going. I wonder if he's just going to send it. Because you're inviting Dark to go mutas, but then do you want Dark to be able to play the later game off of this? Probably not, based on what we saw earlier. So then it's kind of time to go already as Solar. He's setting up to go. His army's coming up the front. He's up 30 army supply as well. Here we go. There's going to be a few Hydras here, obviously, from Dark, but they can't provide bios like the Ravagers of Solar, so they're generally not as useful. Going to get on top of this base straight away. That looks as though it's going to be a straight-up, I'm going to say kill, but Dark actually re-engages down the ramp into the choke. So it's not going to be a kill just yet. We do cancel the units building there thanks to the corrosive battles, so they were very nicely placed. Walker on the upper left can go down as well. Roaches on the left, few Roaches on the right, coming in from either side here. A couple of corrosive bars coming down. Our army just going to keep on pushing up. Solar, he timed this nicely, man. He did a good job of this. Just had mutas, really convinced Dark to make a ton of Hydras. And then boom, hits with the Roach Ravager. It's way stronger. And it is going to overwhelm Dark in this moment. Solar 2, Dark 2. Game number 5. On the top right hand side, just dropped down the 14 pool. Our red Zerg player Solar from Onside Gaming takes on the blue Zerg bottom left from Dragon Kaiser Dark. It's 2-2, it's tied up. 3 maps at most remain to day 2 if one player just wins out from here. here in the WardiTV Spring Championship. Again, summer season for WardiTV starts in the upcoming week or two. Going to be a whole lot of fun. Very, very excited. Well, cool first early from Solo. I wonder what sort of plan he has with that. If there's anything in particular he's going to be aiming for. Or, again, just if there's kind of a rough idea of what he wants to do. I'm interested. I'm interested. Hatchery down on the low ground here from Dark. Gets spawn and pull up over on the edge. Spawn pool position is in case of a 12 pool drone pull. It protects you from the spine course going up right on the edge there, so it actually helps you out a whole bunch. You can do a few things with that and delay your opponent's timing a little bit, so it helps out a whole bunch indeed. There's a couple of queens coming through, a couple of lings coming out. The ling's already showing up here from Solar. And the defense from Dark is okay. 2 drones is, I think, alright for Solar, honestly. He wants that low HP drone, he gets it, so that's 3. His 3 lings still alive, but... well, I guess if you get a couple of them out, then they're still good. Doesn't matter if they're low HP right now. So yeah, actually, it keeps a couple of lings alive, got 3 drones. I think that's an amazing start for Solar. He did obviously lower his economy initially by going for the earlier pool, though. That's something he's still building back up off of, but you can see right now, I think he's going to get there. His Dark is in a supply block as well, so Dark actually having a really troubling start. That supply block is the kind of supply block as well, where you're like, hey, look, like, you know, you kind of did some stuff here as Solar, right? You kind of harassed him, you distracted him, so while it's an unforced error, it's kind of an unforced error that comes off the back of Solar still kind of being aggressive, still making Dark focus on other things, that micro, rather than just fully kind of when you should be building your Overlord, for example, right? Four queens chilling out, a couple lings still moving up, ling speed coming in on either side. Queens get over here, one Zerglin already taking a little bit of damage. Ling speed is producing from both at the moment. We do see the Rotron dropping down as well from Solar, and that going on the natural. And again, ling speed coming in from both sides as that Evo chamber also comes through. Again, a couple extra drones and Zerglings continuing to produce. All of this coming out, our Overlords are building. Evolution Chamber of Dark is on the way, about halfway done as well. We've got that link speed just producing on through here as Rotron is building from Solar, about to be done. He stops the Carapace upgrade, so playing that right now. Bowling still chilling out down on the bottom side, and just seeing ourselves the couple extra Overlords popping out as well here. Carapace still coming through, and just seeing ourselves lings the way across. Solar trying to be the aggressor initially. Dark also playing the Carapace. Solar making a bunch of Overlords. This kind of comes down to whoever attacks into the other is kind of on the deficit, right? Similar drone counts, etc. Solar has got a later third hatch. Making a macro hatch right now as well, because I don't think he's going to spend quite all of his cash. Also seeing our lings continue to move around just a little bit for the moment. Well, like I said, it might come down to who attacks into who. Dark's moving across the lings. We have seen Dark drone a little bit further, as did Solar, so both of them are kind of considering the idea of kind of continuing macro rise and continue to drone up, so they're not all out kind of being aggressive. Which again, I think for both of them is pretty good if they just keep on macro and eventually, you know, they start to build layers and stuff, and then nothing really comes from the fact that this is kind of even across the board. Carapace upgrade coming through. The side of Docks, just bringing that up in the next couple of moments. Get that online. 6 roaches still producing that. Roaches coming here from Solar. Getting there to push the Lings back just a little bit. A lot of Lings producing on the side of Solar. A lot of Lings producing on the side of Dock. Melee upgrade coming up on top of all that. So Dock's actually going to stick with the very Ling heavy style considering he's going to build Melee. Melee actually feels like a wild choice. I do not feel like that's something that we'd usually see as a... That's kind of the given option. You know, just then the way you go into it. That's, yeah. That really is a little bit of something, huh? Alright, well, meleeing it up. And you see Solar going into the missiles, so he's obviously going to focus a bit more on the roaches on the follow-up to all of this, but... Yeah, like I said, that's why the melee is so interesting. It's just, it's not the norm. It's not the kind of go-to, really. Not unless your opponent, not unless you're more obviously playing just kind of like heavy Lings, but he's got 18 roaches. It's not like he doesn't have roaches, right? Like, that's what's getting me. It's not like he's just completely ignoring the roaches. If he was ignoring roaches completely and just building Lings and Baneless down, was building some Banes, then sure, but yeah, as it stands, I'm a little bit shocked, I suppose. So we're going to get a little bit of a sightseeing whether Dark's Mass Ling or Solar's pure Roach Ravager is going to be a better here. Solar is now on a few more drones. I'll say that Solar's been lacking behind on army supply a little bit, though, so that could be a problem. Lings move one way, gonna move the other. Maybe seeing that Lings escaping up this left-hand side. A lot more Lings from Dark gonna go around the right, so we are gonna see a bit of action here and there. Both players gonna go some different routes to get in there for it, though, but see what goes down as we have our Lings gonna crash into each other. On this ramp, obviously, this is where Dark finished up the melee upgrade. He will start to do a little bit better. Meanwhile, Lings get a massive wraparound over here, so the corrosive bars can come through on the center of Solar's units. He's going to take massive damage off the vials, and then the Lings are following through to just absolutely decapitate Solar's chances of this game. Holy crap. Dark just absolutely murdered. On the top left-hand side, it is going to be down the map. Our red Zerg player trying to bring it back. It is Solar. On the right side, our blue Zerg is Dark. Alright guys, comes down to this. Solar must now even up the series again. It's been a back and forth series. Dark takes map 1, Solar map 2. Dark 3, Solar 4. Dark wins map 5. Is Solar going to respond by taking map 6, equalizing yet again in this series, or are we going to actually just see the first 2 maps in a row won by one player? Catch Guessing Pool coming on up, getting going. Mostly mirrored openings for the moment. First couple minutes in ZvZ is not a guarantee, so now I'm going to see this mirroring up for a few moments here. Couple Lings coming now, a couple Queens on the way. And for the moment, so far so good, and we just get ourselves set up. Seeing where we can take this as our link speed comes through. The couple Queens are all coming in. A couple drones on the way out on the side of Solar. Take that one more drone. Make that a couple extra Lings as well. And Solar bring us back. Can he take this to game 7? And what has been actually a pretty epic day of the Spring Championship playoffs. Some great matches all the way throughout. Started early. Gumiho Max Pack started off day number 2 of our playoffs here. We had just a fun day in general. It's been good. Very, very cool. Exciting stuff. Comes down to this. Like I said, can solo take us to game number 7. Baneling Nest on both sides of the map. Hatcheries coming up. It could not be more standard for this game 6 at the moment. And Bane Nest coming in the front from Dark, as it will do from Solar as well. Obviously notable that Dark is building that Bane Nest. We talked about this a lot throughout the series. Seems like he's gone. But he's kind of past a few of the moments now, though, so... Things moving around for a few moments here. Get some bits and pieces up and running. If a chamber will go down, Rotron coming up. Getting this underway as we have ourselves the Rotron on both sides. It's an Evo chamber though from Dark that comes in a little bit faster than Solar. He will drop the lair a little bit more quickly instead. Well, coming through, Rotron producing a few drones on the way. The Overlord still building up. That's building up here from Dark. 9 drones currently on the way out. I mean, again, the difference is just A, the lair time, and B, the upgrade timing, where the upgrade timing favors Dark, the lair timing favors Solar. And to finally see a little bit of action here, it's been pretty passive. Some Lings and Banes will crash into each other. Dark with a few more units to start us out with at the moment. There's actually getting a bit of a surround on those Queens. That one Baneling doesn't reach anything in the end. We try to finish the Queens up, but they survive low HP, so Solar getting them out of there just about in time to keep them nice and healthy. We're seeing that one Baneling back around on the left-hand side as well. So that's still on the way up. Missiles building from both teams here. The Roach speed coming through as well as our extra extractors all coming up. Overlords are still producing. Fire some shots off. Link's taking some extra shots as well. I mean, again, just trying to scout, going again to the bases. Solar is building the Spire once again. Faster Lair once again provides a Spire. Who would have guessed it? Well, Solar has succeeded on the back of the mutas, right? Every single time Solar has seen success, it's generally the mutas that helped him to get there. So, mutas again here. See if he can keep it going, or see if Dark finds an answer to these mutalisks. A lot of roaches on the way up from Dark. Link's still out on the south, going to run on in. There's a couple of these drones already going to be in trouble. We knock one down immediately. Now Link gets into this natural expansion, but that's just going to go down straight away as well. So the drones pull in, they're going to pick that off. The Overseer gets chased over here as well. Another Changeling dropping down. 6 meters, 5 roaches, plus 1 missiles. Roach speed all producing through. Dark comes across with the roaches, obviously trying to maybe hit a few before mutas arrive, but the mutas are out. He is going to maybe get rid of the 4th hatchery. That's a start at the very least. Like I said, the mutas now will be able to start capitalizing on these roaches being over here. Start to chase them down as well as they try and retreat away across the map. Now the mutas actually busied themselves. They went after a couple of nearby overlords, just prioritizing those. Oh, come on. Let me guess me. Me this time. I'm sure of it. TKL again. Ugh. Twice in a row. This feels bad, man. And this is not necessarily an internet thing, guys. It's not like one guy just has crappy internet, he keeps on joining. It's like, it's just BattleNet. Like, it's just BattleNet just sucking. Like, his internet's probably completely fine, just connection to Korea sucks. Yeah. Alright. Server. Yep. We got knocked out earlier today as well for one of these matches. It's rough going right now, guys. It's rough going right now, and 3, 2, 1, drop. And we're back into it. Yeah, it's rough going. Servers just aren't in their best shapes for whatever reasons, as we do see. Roach is going to pull back here, going to knock down this Baneling Nest, opening up the map a little bit. Roaches will begin to move forward. Tunnel Claws and Burrow both continuing in for now as we have our Roaches continue to settle in the front. Dark killed the 4th base, but he never had a 4th hatchery of his own, so he is kind of, missing that still. Again, Tunnel Claws and Burrow are going to be interesting from him as Mutas will control the map, taking away all of the Overlord spread of Dark, so he doesn't get to see anything. Dark supply is not pretty, right? I mean, considering that Solar is mostly on Roach Ravager as well now, like, Dark supply is really not looking good. So, Solar absolutely looking pretty healthy, and as he pushes across the map, maybe the Mutas are going to get it done for him once again. Right now, Muta dives in. First Queen already going to take some shots. Six drones going down as the Mutas actually get a little bit done. The army of Soul, the main one, is not actually going to get as far forward as I thought. I thought it was going to be actually very comfortably just moving into success there, but not quite the case. So is actually kind of up against the Roxy, and he's trying to break his way out as he dives back. Now he re-engages in. Tunneling Claws and +2 about to be done from Dark. +2 especially nice in this fight because now he has an upgrade lead. Now he can jump on these Roaches more easily. Corrosive Vials not quite catching too much, I suppose, in the end, but still a couple of connections, still a couple of nibbles on that HP, those HP bars of Solar. Roaches and Ravages back onto this set of rocks here, knocking down this central area, pushing through the center of the map. Well, +2 missiles, Overlord speed, all coming up. Our army heading down to the south. Firing Overlord, taking some shots. Gonna see that Roach Ravager gathering back up together. Solar is trying to fight his way in here. I just don't think he's got enough of an opening to go and fight in or so. So actually I feel like he's going to be held off a little bit in that regard. This narrow, this choke point is way too narrow to truly go attacking into, and I think Solar realizes that as well. He's going to hold it back a little bit. Infestation Pit starts for him. Dark sets up the Lurker Den, knowing that if he can move forward into Lurkers, he generally gets into the part of the game he really likes, and we've seen that before already once today. The Lurkers in the later game definitely helping out a bundle. Solar was definitely scared to go into that stage. So yeah, if you're Dark right now, this game is settling. Get a 4th base and just try and play it a little bit later. Solar's going to try and kill you, it would seem. Although Solar also getting the Hydro Den, so maybe Solar's going to be a bit more open to perhaps just going later game here. Isn't going to try and force it as much as it felt like it was forced in that previous game where it went down. He's trying to force the the game to end before that point is what I'm saying. Maybe not so much this time around. As our units of Solar continue to move to the front. Couple corrosive bars coming off. Units going to dodge away from each other just for a moment or so. We're just still around, latching onto the base for a little bit. Solar, equal army supply. Obviously, some of that army's up in meters, but not really finding a way in. Some Roaches on the other side going to actually start dealing some damage. So for everything that Solar is trying to do, Dark is going to start already immediately finding more success with a small amount of Roaches of his own. Solar trying to get up to that 5th base, trying to utilize this map control. Dark trying to get up to the tech, which he believes will see him to victory here in this game 6. Roach is chasing. Now Roach is coming down this right-hand side. And he's pushing on in here. A couple corrosive files going off all over the army, scattering across everything. So again, jumped on these last few Roaches and Ravagers are not quite enough, so they're definitely seeing some issues. Network Den still building on the side of Solar. More crossover bars coming down. And we're seeing this battle continues over on the right hand side. Dark gonna be here to try and push this back a little bit. This fight's been going on a while. Couple crossover bars gonna land in the back. Dark is ever so quickly approaching the lurkers though. Sola's gonna lose this fight as well. If he loses this fight and then Dark can get to lurkers on top of it, and Solar is in a lot of trouble because that is just not where you want to be against Dark. Solar with his own kind of setup towards lurkers coming, but again, if you lose this fight, you're just going to have so much less to work with here. Dark continues to shape this trade. Ravagers in the back for him are delivering that 1 meter still overhead, trying to get something extra done. And Dark does not have a 5th base still. That is one thing that Solar does have in his favor, as these engagements do die down. Lurkers on both sides. If we have a lurker on both sides, typically Vipers are going to become very necessary. That becomes something I think like we need very shortly. Lurkers getting position though from Solar, so he gets his lurkers into position straight away. Dark is going to have spores to help him detect. And he's going to obviously try and hold on best he can. Fuse the Corrosive Bars landing. The spore taking a few shots of damage. We're going to knock down a set of rocks on the side here, open up this area. Dark has a few roaches counter-attacking up to the top side once again. Lurkers are still moving through the center of the map. Double spines firing. Lurkers taking a lot of shots. You're going to see these Lurkers burrowing through, and they will go zoom zoom. But again, surrounded, so if Solar loses all of his Lurkers, that's obviously not good. Okay, the units on the left side is the Overlord stack, right? I was like, oh my god, if the units from the left side as well and you lose every single Lurker. Solar is still down 20 supply, and Dark is not just maxed, but maxed with meaning, right? Like, he's maxed, he's got money in the banks as well. +2 carapace is already done for him. He is actually behind in the +3 missiles, though, so that's one thing that maybe Solar has in his favor that he can try and utilize here over the next little while. Sign up for that right now. 6 drones already dropping. Another spine crawler getting burrowed. Hydras, roaches, and ravagers still coming through. These roaches taking a lot of shots. A lot of roaches taking a lot of damage, honestly, as these hydras are going to be able to help finish up. The lurkers get burrowed there from Solar. Well, unit count's like 10 to 9 lurkers, couple vipers out. Don't understand why Dark doesn't have lurkers yet. Vipers yet, sorry. He has 5 on the way, I guess, so I guess that explains. They just weren't ready yet. They're necessary, right? At this stage of the game. With this amount of lurkers on the field, the realistic response is just going to be vipers, and you absolutely need that. Roaches over here doing what they can, but it's getting tougher as those lurkers are in position. But we are going to maybe target down the natural. Save the day, Solar. I think he's got enough. He's going to cut away with the last couple of roaches. The last roach! He gets it with his final shot of life. He takes down the natural hatchery. Dark with the snipe as he chases roaches of Solar away up the right-hand side at the same time here. Well, that was a fun little catch. Natural is obviously pretty mined out at this stage. It's not necessarily one of those scenarios where it's like, oh my god, that was it. That's the game ended. But like, it's just nice to get it as Dark. Slows down a bit of mining, slows down a bit of production. Solar's going to see it's important enough to rebuild it at least. So there is your kind of tell as to whether it was truly worth it or not for Dark. Absolutely it was. Well, look, is building up here from Solar, still bringing those through as he is going to set up to attack on this right-hand side, perhaps. That seems to be his plan for the moment, suddenly. So, yeah, first abduct going off as we do have the Viper getting hit by a parasitic bomb. Dark splits that one Viper away. So far, so good. Again, this is the stage of the game where Dark is absolutely terrifying to play against. He's so solid, he's so consistent. Solar's already making mistakes, running lurkers in. 2 opposing lurkers, just lets that die. You're not in a position to be losing units, Solar. Dark has the better army. Dark has the bigger bank. You need to be taking everything you can get, not gifting units away at every corner of this game. Roach Ravager Lurkers gathering up one more time. You see Spore Crawls producing. Drones coming out, plus 3 Carapace coming up. Seven Spore Crawlers coming in on the side of Dark here. So again, a lot of those up and rolling as he just wants to really settle down as late as possible. Spores are going to help protect him against his opponent's Vipers. Which again, we've said a couple times now, are really the, a big portion of what's going to win this game, right? That maybe not the full be-all and end-all, but good Viper casting can absolutely decide matches, that's for sure. So that's definitely one thing we've got to watch out for a bit. Looks going to burrow. A few rushes coming to the front here. Army of Dark will sit and trade a little bit. We do have 5 Hydras, a few Overlords, plus 3 Carapace upgrade, all continuing through. It's going to burrow, going to go moving forward a little bit as well. Taking some steps over in this direction. You're going to see Dark is going to get some abducts. 1, 2, Vipers, make it a Lurker. Tries to grab an Overseer, and the Overseer will not go down. We actually kill another Viper that went too far forward from Solar. Didn't cast anything, so gets nothing out of that. And the costs are adding up. Resources lost in this game, 19.2 to 27,000. And for a while, yes, Solar was obviously on the faster bases. He has mined more and still is mining more as well, but I really feel like Dark is just finding such good trades that this is just becoming a formality right now to play out the game. Like, he is... obviously, Solar has a max storm, and he can, of course, still take maybe one really good fight, but it just doesn't seem like it's happening. It just doesn't seem like it's happening at all at the moment. Yeah, just coming through. A couple of Vipers will get set up. Plus 3 Carapace coming through as well. It's just, again, a couple bits and pieces getting going right now. As our units come up to the top side, it's going to be a hatchery. Getting, picking out. It's just going to be seeing our Lurkers going to get a few more shots off. Game settles down once again for a few moments. Nice network on the way up from Solar. Cool way to kind of mix up the aggression a little bit, deep into this game now. Definitely not a bad way to keep things going. Ooh, the Lurkers top right from Dark take a beating. The Vipers again abducted. 2 of them go down instantly. Parasite bomb onto Dark's Vipers, but that won't end up doing too much. And there's the Nidus in the main base, by the way, so it's going to start up. Dark doesn't have anything ready nearby to fight it. He's got Vipers here that are just gathering energy. There you go. A few units start showing up now. I think with the Vipers here, you can actually deal with this pretty easily, right? Because you can just Blinding Cloud if you need to, for example. So I don't think that was ever truly concerning, I suppose. Okay, one small step. Thank you so much. 21-month resub on the Prime here during our finals. Thanks for supporting the channel. As the Lurkers just trying to be annoying here and there, defending against Niduses that are coming up. 21 minutes here on Babylon. We are continuing through the late stages of this ZvZ. Tanks are building. Solar is a little bit poorer than Dark. And of course he's been mining a lot more, but as the game settles down, that mining advantage will disappear. And then he really needs to start finding some extra advantages himself, otherwise he probably ends up in quite a chunk of trouble. Top right hatchery is going to go down. Still have Vipers all joining up. Lurkers, Vipers coming forwards here from Solar. Dark holding out in the center of the map. If this is the series game we end the series on, can't be disappointed, right? Banger of a series. Army of Solar still coming through the center. Just going to be seeing the Nidus in the bottom left. Going to go down. ZvZ just trying to shut these down here and there, stop harassment from coming through, stop ability from being available. Big fight from Dark. He actually pushes into position here. He gets a lot of his Lurkers blind clouded on the top side. Massive abducts into the Vipers, and all the Vipers of Solar pretty much die in that one abduct session. The Rock's being knocked down as well means that Solar can't really fight through this, and Dark is absolutely swarming this army of Solar. It looks like this is the fight to send him to the championship. Dark is going to win it in the WardiTV Spring Championship. 4-2 over Solar. He got 4